Call Marty and Clay at 842-KERN or toll free at 1-800-640-KERN. Now, more of Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180.
Can buy me love.
I love this music. This is not our regular music, Goose.
I love it.
You are back on Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180. The sad thing is, Clay, you and I remember when that song came out.
I know.
I'll leave it at that.
We got a caller on the line, and we're pressed for time. So
yes,
let's move
we
on.
have a caller for Russell on the line, and the caller's name is David.
Hi, it's David. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you today, David? What's your question for
Good.
Russell?
Well, it's actually a question for everybody here. I got a call from a cousin of mine back east, and he said something about seeing on CNN how one of our candidates was in charge for hacking. And I'm just trying to figure out, is this one of the first persons we've seen that's actually got arrested for something during a campaign, or is this something new, or have we seen this before in Bakersfield?
Ooh, good question. Have we seen... Okay, so it's obvious who you're talking about is Martin Bertram. Has this ever
innocent
happened?
until proven guilty, and he he denied it that it was hacking. He said he had a password that was given to him by the candidate, and he worked for the committee, so he's denying that. But we don't really want to get into a discussion about his situation. We're talking to Russell today.
Sure, and whether or not it happened in the past here in Bakersfield, I really don't know. Do you, Clay? I've never heard of that happening. But then again, you got to remember, we're in a new electronic age now that, there's a lot of exposure here and a lot of questions that have been asked, and that I think we're going to see more of this in the future.
I think more people have been arrested in Congress than anywhere in the United States.
More than likely. We have another questionnaire. Joel on the line. Joel?
Hi, gentlemen. Great show today.
Thank you, Joel.
My question for Mr. Johnson is, I guess I should clarify, I am not a member of any union, okay? But to me, it seems like the city is very it's having a very difficult time dealing with the union. Both the fire department union and BPD, I think, haven't had a contract in a couple of years. It just seems to me that there needs to be more open doors and less closed doors, because really the union is going to have to partner with us somehow in order to get this happening. Can you speak to how you would help that process?
Russell?
Yeah, great question. I think when you look at a lot of stuff that's been going on at the city, it ties right into that. We're in the middle of a huge economic downturn, yet we're in a lawsuit with the builders. We're in the middle of a huge economic downturn, yet we can't solve contracts with our employees. My philosophy on government is that it's about communication, cooperation, and partnership. And without those three things, nothing can get done. I know I'm pressed for time. I'm cutting into the next person's time, so I got to get going. But thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, Russell, no problem. If you want to stay till after we're done with Andy, you're more than welcome to. It's up to you. Depends on your schedule. But
hey, we got a special guest coming in.
Yes, we do. Andy Vidak, candidate for the 20th District, running against Mr. Costa.
Jimmy Costa.
Yes.
Time we oust Jimmy Costa.
Andy, welcome to Taking Care of Business.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Well, I know you see a lot of people, but Clay and I met you at the Stockdale Country Club the other day, a couple of weeks ago, and I was really, really impressed with your talk at the Country Club. And it's funny, I wrote something down on my Facebook that you had said, a comment you made that kind of stuck with me. You don't win the silver, you lose the gold.
Well, that's exactly right. I've been, this whole country was built on competition, and we're in this to win. I'm not doing this for practice, that's for sure.
Yeah. I had to go to Reno for a conference this week, and I saw your signs going up 5 and going down 99. So you guys got a great campaign going. You're doing a really, really good job. And I've got a couple questions for you. I know we've got a limited amount of time with you, so I want to get right into the questions. First of all, why are you running?
Well, it goes back to, I'll just start with my very beginnings. I was born and raised in Visalia, and I went to school in Texas, graduated from Texas Tech, and I came back and I had a dream that I wanted to start my own ranch. And so I went out to work for other people, and I worked in coolers and packing sheds, and I just kept saving my money, and I finally did reach that American dream, and I bought my own ranch, and now I farm both in Kings and Tulare counties, and I run a lettuce cooling business out in western Fresno County, and I've worked out on the west side out in the 20th District for the past 25 years. And after last summer, when I just really started seeing how broken our government was and how unresponsive our current representative was, I was at the San Luis Reservoir when they didn't turn on the pumps. I was part of 20 busloads of people that went up to George Miller's office and did some protesting up there. I was at Bryant Dam when they started letting the water out last October for a lost tribe of salmon. They've been gone for over 60 years. That water should be running down the Bryant-Kern Canal and replenishing ground supplies and watering crops. And then when you see the spending that's going on, I mean, we've just got an absolute absence of accountability in Congress today. And then they spent $1.3 trillion on our nation's credit card the last 2 years alone, and that's 3.5 times what they've ever spent before. And that's over $13.5 trillion, and every taxpayer out there now owes $120,000 in debt. And I just couldn't stand it. I was asked by some people out here in the 20th District, farmers, to run. And so I, after a lot of thought and talking to my family, I said, well, I just can't sit here and watch this happen anymore. I have to try. And so we went into a primary, a three-way primary, and did very, very well. We got 70% of the vote. And all of this summer, we've just been talking to more people. And every day I talk out there on the west side and talk to more and more people, the more inspired, the more dedicated, and the more inspired I am to take this on and bring a real voice to the 20th District.
Hey, Andy, this is Clay. We saw you Thursday night at the Padre. I appreciate your coming down again. And you spent a lot of time in Kern County. Recently you were at a meeting with Dolores Herta, I believe it was, and her union group, and out in Arvin. Can you tell us a little bit about who showed up for those meetings?
Absolutely. It was I think it was a couple of weeks ago now, and we got the invitation on a Monday and over my BlackBerry, and I was talking to my chief of staff. I said, well, shoot, we need to go to this. So we went ahead, and I called in and told them we were going to be there. It was Tuesday night, and we got there. It was right there in Arvin, and we got there at 5:30. It started at 6. We met everybody that came through the door. We put up our yard signs and bumper stickers and some of our walk pieces, and we went through the forum, and then we stayed and had dinner with everybody, and we were the last ones to leave. But the curious thing about it was, I thought, when we got there, I ended up being the only candidate that was running for anything besides. They had their school board members and they had some water board members, but state and assembly and Congress, I was the only candidate that showed up. You know, Michael Rubio had a representative that went through the forum with me, and that was great. But Fran Flores did not send anyone. Jim Costa did not send anyone, and I thought it was just kind of ironic. I mean, we're going to where Democrats take the people for granted, and we're going where Republicans generally fear to go, and that's been our whole campaign since June 8th. I mean, we know we've got a pretty good base with the Republicans, but we need to get those declined states, independents and Democrats, conservative Democrats especially, to come across. Because when you're standing in food lines, when you have unemployment, when you're paying taxes, when the government takes over your health care, I mean, this is an election not just for Republicans. This is an election for Democrats, independents, to get some real representation. I don't think anyone's really excited about the way the country's going and the way they're spending money.
Well, Jim Costa doesn't seem to be showing up for anything, but he did show up at the Bakersfield Californian. And just in case you didn't know this, the Californian endorsed Jim Costa, and I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that.
Well, we had a very lively debate in there, and the Bakersfield Californian has their opinions, of course, and that's just fine. We're talking to voters. You know, the paper doesn't really have a vote, but they do have those endorsements. But we're talking to a lot of voters, and we're talking to voters every day. We don't take a day off. We've been doing it since June, and we're looking very good. I mean, this thing's a dead heat or better right now. It's the fourth quarter. We've got the ball, and we're driving. We've got the momentum, and people are really looking for some change.
Andy, I like that attitude. Clay, you had another question?
Yeah, I just want to say the reason they're endorsing him, I couldn't buy into his experience, which I question anyway. He just votes the way Pelosi votes. But it's interesting that you had Michael Regan out here the other day flew all the way out here just to talk on your behalf. And the people that are getting behind you and supporting you and the things that you're doing to make this a success, the young guns are behind you. What can we do to help you out?
Well, just give me an opportunity to be on your radio and say hello to the great people down there in Kern County. This is great. We've got a website. Of course, everyone can go to it. It's vidakforcongress.com. That's in English and Spanish. We can always take more nickels, dimes, and quarters because we have to continue to get our message out. been endorsed by the NRA, and they seem to be running some radio ads for me, and I really appreciate that kind of stuff. That's going on out there. Of course, I have no control over it, but it's great to be endorsed by someone like that. That event down at the Padre was Kings and Kern County Farm Bureaus kind of went together and put that thing together. Experience, like they said in the editorial, well, he's a professional politician. He's never had a job. I've never run and never dreamed of running. I've never been elected or even run for anything. So I think we need real people who know how to run a business and know something about a budget. It's interesting to see that I think we've got 40 physicians running across the country this year for Congress. I think that's a testament to small businessmen and the healthcare system that they tried to shove down our throats.
What we need are business people. These Congress people today have no idea what business is all about.
Yep,
that's exactly right. My opponent's also a 3-time original co-sponsor of Card Check with Congressman George Miller, and that just appalls me. Taking away a secret ballot and opening doors up to this kind of stuff just frightens me dearly.
It definitely does. Andy, I have one question for you. I was
Sure.
Sitting at home the other day watching the Idiot Box, and I noticed one of Costa's commercials, and he stated that you haven't voted in years, and I just wanted you to have a chance to talk about that.
Sure, I don't mind talking about it at all. The ad that you're referring to, I finally saw it this morning. I think they're saying in the year 2002 and 2003 I didn't vote, and that was I think it was a primary or a special election. Votes are very important to me, and any voting that I did miss, I regret. I'm the one that's usually calling my family and telling them, hey, make sure you vote, and I'm always hammering on my little sister to make sure she gets out and votes. But, I did. I was out of town. I was working. I regret that. Back there in 2002 and 2003, like I said, they weren't the general elections, I don't think. But, I can name 6, 7, 8 votes that I wish Jim Costa would have stayed home for. Again, being a co-sponsor of Card Check, the health care bill, the stimulus bills, the TARP. He voted against water, turn on the pumps act 3 times. And I don't know why you do it once. I don't know why you do it twice, but he's done it 3 times. And those are all votes that I wish he hadn't have shown up for. I do regret not voting in 2002 and 2003, though.
But Andy, I agree with you that when I saw that, my thought was, gee, I wish there were some votes you wouldn't have voted for. Andy, I know you're pressured for time, and we're going to let you go. And I really, really appreciate you taking the few minutes with us right now. And lots of luck in the election. I think you're going to do a fantastic job as one of the new young guns. So that's kind of exciting.
It is exciting, and again, it's VidakForCongress.com, and check it out. And I really appreciate you all having me on. Thank you.
Spell Vidak.
V as in victory, I, D as in dog, A-K.
Great. Andy, thank you again for the time, and lots of luck to you.
Hey, thank you, guys. Thank you.
Take care now. This is Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180.